We are back here at BAM Vision on BAMSouth.com. South Gibert, CEO of Venture Technologies. You're very critical of a lot of regulations. I am too. What is the maybe elephant in the room that is going to hurt this country the most going forward? Is it the deficit problem? Is it Medicare, Medicaid, other entitlements, in your opinion, Gerard?
It's all the above, obviously. Yeah. I think what maybe a lot of folks don't realize is that about 70% of total federal spending as of last year is actually in the form of Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, and other entitlements, transfer payments, if you will. To a large extent, the government at the state level with Medicaid and the federal level with Medicare, and obviously their participation in Medicaid, is in the healthcare business. That's really what it's become. So while it still is largely a privatized or a private industry, government's in the healthcare business. Deficits have actually been declining because of the increase in taxes under President Obama and a fairly strong economy relative to what it was in the 2008 period. Certainly not as strong as it should be. But so we've actually shrunk the deficit quite a bit. The debt is a big issue and is a big concern, but it's the unfunded liability, elephant in the room, of entitlements, Social Security, Medicare in particular, that do worry me. Regulations, the EPA is just out of control. It just looks like they get up and every day and try to dream up something to impose on the private sector. It just costs us so much time and money to deal with that.
Are we addressing these issues properly? Or are we looking at them at all?
You know, it's almost like a freight train headed downhill. It's like, where do you start? We hear and see a lot of rhetoric from even those on the right that oppose it, but I just don't see a lot of concrete action. The federal government is huge. It just seems like it's so big it's impossible to shrink.
You're an avid follower of politics. You're a savvy political commentator. I've got to ask you to handicap 2016 because as we're taping yesterday, the Donald threw his hair in the ring. I couldn't resist that. The Republican field has just blossomed. It's going to be Hillary on the left. Bernie's going to be a thorn in her side, Bernie Sanders. But last poll I saw, Gerard, Wall Street Journal, show that it's not even close, that we will have Hillary Clinton as president. What are your takes on the 2016 election?
Yeah, I tend to agree with the Wall Street Journal at this point. I've stated repeatedly, if you pay any attention to the way the electoral voting process works and you look at past elections, it's Ohio and Florida. Must have Ohio and Florida and flip those to close the gap to even have a chance. Then you got to have a couple of other states, Virginia and maybe one other small state that could be a swing, Colorado, New Mexico, Iowa. How does a Republican candidate appeal and win over those states, and who can do that? You know, I like a lot of things about a lot of the candidates, and I will support whichever Republican candidate wins the nomination. I will not stay home because I don't want Hillary to be the president, but I like Scott Walker. Yeah. I like Ted Cruz. I think he's a strong conservative. I certainly have my issues and differences perhaps with Governor Bush, but I actually think he would be a decent president. I like Marco Rubio, so I speak here, really like a lot of what he has to say. I like Rand Paul. I don't agree down the line with every one of them. I don't look for purity. I don't think that's possible, but it's going to be fun.
When are you running for governor of Mississippi?
At this point, I have no intention to seek political office. If I did, however, in the future, once I complete building the Venture Technologies empire, my interest is really at the federal level. I think if I did, that's where I could be most effective.
In the final moments we've got here, Gerard, your company, Venture Technologies, an astounding success in the IT world. You could be located and headquartered anywhere. Why Ridgeland, Mississippi?
Well, this is my home, Jack, and I was born and raised in the Jackson, Mississippi area. I'm proud of that fact. I enjoyed traveling the country and talking about the great things we have to offer here in Mississippi and going on. And I really like seeing the heads turn and the eyes kind of open up wider when I talk about Venture being headquartered in Mississippi. They say, where? And it's kind of astonishing, especially when we talk about our size and our scope and what we've done. So it is my intention to continue to build Venture into a very large company here in Mississippi. Who knows, might even go public one day.
A true Mississippi business hero and visionary, South Gibert. Thanks for being our guest on BAMSouth.com's BAM Vision. I'm Jack Chris. Tune in again soon. Thank you.